Hello, I'm Trudy, One Grounded Angel. This is the weekly angel card reading for the week beginning March the 13th through to the 19th, not the 17th, 2017. I keep forgetting I'm now doing the weekends as part of my weekly readings. Thank you so much to all of you who offered feedback on that. I'm glad to hear that you like the full 7 days in one reading. It's not too long for you, so I'll continue with this format. So we'll start off with Monday the 13th, lucky 13. I think it's lucky. That's because I'm not superstitious. There's no need to be superstitious when you understand that we're supported by the universe and the angels, and there's no such thing as bad luck. So we're starting with Monday the 13th, and let's see what the angels want us to know. Oh, some days it takes longer to shuffle to get the right cards than others. Here we go. Home. So a couple of different meanings here. It's particularly relevant for those of you who are in a home situation that perhaps isn't ideal. Maybe you're at war with, or there's friction between you and the other occupants of the house, or with neighbours. Maybe you're feeling unsafe or just not welcome in the neighbourhood. There's some discomfort there. And perhaps it is that you are looking to move house. If that's the case, you are looking to move, this is your sign that it's a good idea, so go for it. In terms of your household situation not being satisfactory, this is signaling that that's about to change, but it is asking you to do what you can to change that situation. Can you improve the atmosphere in the house by making peace with the people that you've been fighting with? Can you change the energy within the house by changing the way it's set up? Perhaps you're feeling stagnant because your house is cluttered. For those of you who follow Hey House on social media, you'll know that Denise Lynn has been doing a lot of some free instructional videos on how decluttering can help you to change the energy of your life, actually, not just your house, because it affects your own energy field. And there is research showing that people who are in cluttered households or work environments can feel more stressed. So that can definitely be helpful. Can you follow perhaps Feng Shui principles to change the energy flow? Are there particular corners where you feel hostile or just something about the house doesn't feel quite right? So those would be good things to look up. I'll definitely recommend Denise Lynn. That's Linn if you're interested in that sort of thing. Maybe you can freshen things up by bringing in new pillows, candles, new furnishings, something to make you feel warmer in the house. You want to feel warm. I don't mean physically warm, I mean energetically warm. Like you can be cozy, you can relax. It's your sanctuary, you feel at peace there. So looking at Tuesday, 14th of March, see what the angels would like us to know for what we're going to face on Tuesday. Doesn't always go so well, the shuffling caper. Oh, just for me. So here we have nature. Very simple, very practical message here. You need to be spending more time outdoors. Now I know some of you in the Northern Hemisphere are in really brutally cold climates right now. This perhaps is not going to seem so practical. And if that's the case for you, what can you do to bring the outdoors in? Can you bring in new plants in your house? Can you have a bath? Can you, I don't know, whatever it is that's going to make you feel like you're part of nature, that's going to really help you right now. Maybe can you plan a holiday to go somewhere where you will be outdoors? So now, for those of us in the Southern Hemisphere who don't have this situation, you need to be going for more walks. You need to be stepping away from your screens. The time that you spend endlessly scrolling Instagram, except my posts obviously, which are always worth looking at, could you maybe be swapping that for a walk with a friend or outside in your evenings? Could you be meditating outside on your balcony? All these sorts of things are really important because it's being outdoors and being in fresh air helps to stimulate the flow of energy in our energy field. So you can see how this is related to that earlier message about restoring good energy into your house. Also, I always say to people who struggle with meditation and who struggle to hear their intuition that being outdoors is the best thing you can do. But it's being around things that are living, like animals and plants, is really, really helpful because it instills a sort of a stillness in us that we think that we need to go elsewhere to get, but it's already in there. It's just buried under all these layers of stress and worry. And it's when we're around you know, the calmness of those sort of beings with that kind of vibration, that we remember how to do that. And it's a good thing to do when you're struggling to make a decision, is to be outdoors, and if you know, have anxiety. So very simple message there, and I don't mean you need to go trekking in the bush for 5 hours, which is going to be impractical for most of us, but even, you know, 20 minutes outside on your lunch break at a park would be beneficial for you. Even better if you can take your shoes off. I know it may not be safe or wise for you to do that, so, you know, use your own discretion there, but grounding yourself by having bare feet on dirt and on you know, bare ground, natural kind of I've lost the word, natural kind of ground spaces, helps ground you and bring you back down to earth, because you're connecting with nature and you're not all stuck in here in your head space where you're over analysing, worrying, stressing, sort of thing. Very calming. So Wednesday, 15th of March. Yep. It's not right. When a couple of cards jump out at once, sometimes they can both be important, but sometimes in that one they were just in a big block. It wasn't quite right. Also, this particular deck gets stuck. I'm not making excuses for my clumsiness, by the way. I know I am a bad shuffler. Okay, brilliant idea. Can't get much better than that. Jump on these bursts of inspiration that you get, like the cartoon character with the light bulb above its head. That's going to be you. So pay attention to ideas that come to you from seemingly nowhere, but in actual fact from your intuition. That's how the universe communicates with you, and jump on them, even if they seem a bit far-fetched. Perhaps you can scale them back at first, and then as you go along with them, you'll find there's more potential there. So, and it's also confirming that if you've had a brilliant idea lately that you just weren't quite sure about, or were just taking your time to mull over, it is a brilliant idea. Go for it. So it's kind of the green light card, really. So Thursday, the 16th of March. If you're wondering why I keep looking to the side, that's where my calendar is. I'm not looking at anyone else. There's no one else here. It's just, well, no one physically anyway. So, 16th of March. Oh, here we go. Jumps out. New beginnings. This is one of my favourite cards in this particular deck. This one is Flower Therapy, and it's made by Robert Reeves, who's a naturopath here just outside Sydney, and he uses a lot of he works with flower essences, and he's used them when he teamed up with Doreen to make these cards. So they're all inspired by nature, which is very appropriate given we've already had the nature card, and they're all Australian. So here we have Banksia, which if you live in Australia you may already know is pretty much a staple of the bush landscape, because it survives bushfires. So in fact it thrives in them. So in the same way that you know, coffee, when you put it under pressure in boiling water, it creates something strong. This plant actually survives and thrives through adversity. So when it's in a bushfire, it drops its seeds. It's the heat, that pressure makes it drops its seed, and then new plants grow. So that's why it continues to endure, and in fact to dominate in our landscape. So and what the message here for you is, you know, the word ashes on here is very appropriate. It says, take this as an opportunity to rise from the ashes stronger and more determined. So you can see the symbolism there. The phoenix, which is a symbol of Scorpio sign, all about regeneration and transformation. So things that are shitty, that are adverse, that are really unpleasant are sent so that we can start again. So, you know, doors close for you so that new ones can open, and you can't be in two places at once. You have to let go of the old stuff to go forth into the new. So trust that if things are going badly for you, it may be because it's the universe's way of taking something away from you so they can give you something new. So trust in that. If you're not going through any adversity, just look out for where the next door is going to open for you, because you are on the verge of some transformation, as we all are, because that's kind of the human condition. We're always changing and transforming, and it's perfectly healthy. And it's also perfectly healthy for us to be a little bit have some trepidation about that, because change can be scary because it's the unknown. So trust in the process of change that is unfolding for you, and look for those new opportunities that come along and trust that they're right. So, which is also, you know, connected to this message here about the brilliant idea. So looking at Friday, yeah, sometimes a card comes up and I go, I don't think that's right. It's best not to trust my brain. Obviously, it's my intuition that needs to be guiding this, but every now and then, even my intuition is going, no, it's not right. Because if it's a card that sticks out, that often can be right, but usually it's when I need a stronger indication that, like, it jumps out, or it's, yeah, there's just a strong pull behind it, and that one there wasn't. Anyway, we have Grace and Antoinette. This particular card deck's named after angels, and it says to help heal the situation, see the other person's point of view with compassion. I call this the judgment card. We all have this tendency towards judgment, and I'm certainly not exempt from that. So watch where you're doing that today, and try to understand that when you do that, you are setting expectations about how you think that person's going to behave or should behave. I hate the word should, but sometimes it's just necessary. So if you're at war's a bit strong, but if you're having tension with someone, you're annoyed at them, you've got any conflict situation whatsoever, the key to getting through that is to see the other person's point of view, or to just extend some compassion to them. You don't have to agree with what they're doing or the way they're behaving, but try not to get on your high horse, because we're all the same ultimately, and we all make bad decisions. So, you know, let's try not to get too superior over anyone. So it's also about, when I say judgment, the other end of the scale to judgment is compassion. And even if you can't necessarily condone what someone's done, and you don't need to, you can always still be compassionate towards them, because, you know, ultimately we're all human, we've all got hearts, and we're all ultimately wanting the same thing, to be loved and to give love. Perhaps not everybody wants that last part, because some people do struggle with that, but, you know, ultimately what we want is love and acceptance. So it really behooves all of us to try and offer that where we can. But as I mentioned, people can make superbly bad choices and act in ways that are superbly unkind, and we don't need to endorse those choices, or to be okay with them either, especially if it obviously affects us or someone we love. But we certainly don't need to hold on to resentment or bitterness towards them, because that will harm us. I say this all the time, but it's so true. Being angry at someone is like swallowing poison and expecting the other person to die. It just doesn't hurt them, it only hurts us. And what would be the benefit of them hurting anyway? It doesn't help us in any way. We don't need people to suffer in order to feel good or to feel better about ourselves. So it's all about compassion, not judging people, trying to practice some tolerance and acceptance, which is really what the world needs more than anything else right now. They're all just forms of love. So we're looking at Saturday now. Are we? Yep. Lost track. Too many cards. It's too much for my brain. Saturday the 18th of March. Let's see. Okay. Mediumship. Now this is a heavy, not heavy, but it's a big message. So for some of you, this is literally confirmation that the messages that you've been receiving, that you think are from someone you love who's passed on, are legit. If you've been getting a sense of perhaps it's someone's perfume that you know, your grandmother, whoever it is that's passed on, or you keep hearing their favourite song, or they just keep popping into your mind for some reason. Yes, it's true, they are communicating with you, and they are perfectly at peace, because people who pass on, no matter what they've been through in their life, they're always at peace, and they're never angry at you, no matter what's happened in your relationship here in the earthly plane. Now, for a few of you, this is going to have a deeper level of meaning, which is confirmation that they're giving me another meaning, which I will go back to in a minute. Sorry, they are saying, hang on, what I was going to say is that for some of you, this is confirmation that you could pursue mediumship in terms of a professional offering if that's been calling to you, or even just to help other people. But they keep pushing this message about being at peace with death, which this is what I mean about it being a big message. Try not to fear death. So if you or someone you know is facing their mortality in quite a heavy way, perhaps they're terminally ill or whatever it is that's going on, try not. What they want you to know is that death is not, even though it is scary for us in our human kind of frames of mind, they are saying that it is okay. It is a natural transition and everything is okay on the other side. So even though we don't know how things are going to go, worrying about that is not helping us either. So there is peace on the other side. I don't know why I'm saying this. Apparently I need to, but for some of you that's an important message, and no matter what's happened in your life, everything will be okay. Somebody needs that. I don't know why. Anyway, I'm just a messenger. So, Sunday the 19th. Whoa. Now prepare to watch me awkwardly shuffle an 80-something card deck. I never remember exactly how many are in this one, but it's the worst one to shuffle. But I keep using it because these cards really, really resonate with people. See, this one's sticking out now, so and I do get a pull that that's the right one for you. Pull's not the right word. I do get a sense that that's the right one for you, and it's the Queen of Raphael. So Raphael is he's associated, I want to say patron saint, but I don't think he's a saint. We don't use that kind of construct normally, although Archangel Michael is Saint Michael in the Christian tradition. And so anyway, he's associated with healing primarily and health, but he's also associated with travel and romance, so you can take what you need from that. Now the significance here of the Queen, the idea of ruling, or it's a powerful metaphor, and is on a throne in this card. So it's about your ability to triumph in those areas if you are struggling with that. So it's asking you to follow your heart to get to that position of power. So if you're feeling disempowered, or you're struggling, or you're not getting where you want to be, or you're not living the life you wanted, you need to step up and follow your intuition, because that's going to guide you to where you need to be. So and when that's your power, basically, intuition. Everybody has intuition, even if they don't recognize it. We tend to argue with it sometimes and ignore it, and I've got a blog post coming up on that because I ignored my intuition and it worked out. Not horribly, but it was, yeah, there's a message I need to share with you guys about what happened when I disregarded my intuition recently. And it's reassuring you that those messages are legit. And we kind of get these messages in just about every week's reading in some form or another. And the reason they repeat themselves is because we are human and we often disregard our intuition because our brains like to argue with it. So now there is another message here. It says a love of home and family. I mean, it's a Sunday. It seems appropriate message as well for us to reconnect with our loved ones as well. So if this whole idea about trusting your intuition to move forward in your life isn't really resonating, maybe it's just an opportunity for you to spend some time with your family and your loved ones and just connect with them. So and there is healing that comes from that as well. So it particularly from stress. So we've got, looking at the week, oh, so much harder to look for patterns when I've got so many different messages. Or so many more, I should say. So we've got messages about, I would say one of the things is about connecting to what's important to us, really grounding in terms of our home situation, being around nature, connecting with whoops, that's not right, let me know what happened, loved ones here, and loved ones who passed on. So we've got strong messages about family and being grounded in what's really important. So that's going to mean a lot to you. I've made a right mess of this. Those of you who are really struggling with stress and feeling overburdened right now, So we've also got messages about following your intuition, particularly on Sunday, and in terms of your brilliant ideas and trusting your intuition. I'm just making such a mess of this. Here's Thursday here. I always get it right on the day, right? So, and trusting in transitions and the changes you're going through are for your greatest good, and being brave enough to let go of what's no longer working. Wow, it's a big week. Okay, now I'm going to put these up. This is a real mess. I'm going to put these up each day, as I always do, on my social media. That will give you more detail and will also give you time to fully assimilate the messages, because the information that you bring forth to that day will be different to what it is now when you're receiving it in a block. My Instagram is @OneGroundedAngel. My Facebook page is One Grounded Angel. You can reach me via my blog, www.onegroundedangel.com, and that's where you can also contact me if you want to book a personal reading, where I can go so much more in depth than I am here, because I'm limited by time and I'm speaking to a huge audience who are going through very, very different things. But isn't it interesting how we're all going through different things in our lives and at different life stages, ages, whatever, relationship statuses, and yet these messages are still resonating with so many of us. I think it's really powerful. Thank you so much for your time and for your love and support. I wish you a fantastic week, and I will read for you again next week. Take care.